Right then, we are live, aren't we? Right, cool. Oh, have I done the thing right? 1 sec. Let's get that sorted a bit better. Right, there we are. Peter says, hi, hope everyone's having a good week. I certainly am, yes. Now I've got the challenge out of the way anyway. So, today, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join. We've got Adam in the chat, hi there. Oh, everyone's jumping in now. Roy, hi Ad, congratulations on your epic 50,000 steps and 50 listings. You must have worn the carpets out. Your next challenge could perhaps do the walk in reverse. Perhaps not. Best wishes, Roy. Thank you very much, Roy. I have been reading your comments. I really appreciate you taking the time every video to leave a comment, and I do always try and reply to everyone. So yeah, thank you for your comments, thank you for your kind words on all my videos. And yeah, it was a hard challenge, and although in the kitchen we don't have carpets, we have tiling, in the living room I could have worn the carpets out if I was doing it all in there. I did like walk in there a few times just to give myself a little bit of variation, but there's two reasons why I didn't do it outside. For one, it would have been quite a hassle doing time-lapse outside. For example, if I was just walking anywhere, I couldn't really set up a camera and do a time-lapse, and I really wanted to get that challenge on time-lapse to show people how long and hard it is to do it. Just for, you know, for if anyone else was thinking to do it, for me to look back on the video and think, wow, that was a big challenge and all that sort of stuff. And then the other reason was because I've trained doing that. That's basically the way I've been training for the challenge, or doing a little bit of training that I did, was by walking around in circles. I did like circuits around my back garden, and I did like going back and forth in the house. Because I get a lot of, I know it's quite a weird way of walking, but I get quite a lot of enjoyment out of walking like back and two or in a circle, because it makes me feel like, I don't know, it just makes me feel very secure and very safe that I'm walking in a sort of circle or a channel. I don't know why I get that enjoyment from it, but the other reason for doing it that way is because, as I say, I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. Yeah, it is a bit of a weird thing, really, because a lot of people would say, oh, why don't you go outside and walk, you know, why don't you be in the fresh air, all that sort of stuff, visiting different places. For me, I just get more enjoyment out of walking in the same area over and over again. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a bit of a robot or something in that respect, I don't know. We've got, who else have we got in there? We've got Stu has joined us, hi there. Hi everyone, we'll see if I can catch the second half of this live. Okay, fair enough, you can always watch it back if you need to. Too early, not made my lunch yet. Sorry guys, well, we're not that early, it's 4 minutes to, you know, I'm always early, but you know, I'm not mega early. Need to watch that video, Ads. Oh yeah, I thought I'd not seen your comment, Peter. I thought if Peter had watched that video, he'll have left a comment. Well, you might want to skip bits because it is quite a long video. But I also wanted to express as well today that the reason I made that video as long as it is was to what I wanted is, I wanted people watching to feel that even watching it is a chore, if you know what I mean. So even when you're just sat watching it, you're thinking, oh my god, this is never ending, I want to click out of it. I wanted to make that video like that, because then you will see how much of a challenge it was. And I purposefully made the time lapses really long, and actually those time lapses are 32 times sped up, but they're still like, some of them are like 4 minutes long, but I left them all in the video instead of cutting you know, cutting some off, because I really wanted to show you the full longevity of the challenge and how much of a challenge it really was. So that's why the video is so long, and that's kind of a choice I made with why the video is so long, to really give you a look at, whoa, this was a big challenge. And it really was. It was one of the hardest days in my life. It wasn't the hardest, but it was one of the hardest, and that's why I've kind of put the topic today. I just wanted to do a 5 or 10 minute reflection on that challenge, because I feel like it's a good thing to reflect upon it and to see what I've done, not necessarily for my own ego or anything like that, just to reflect upon it in a educational way. If I did something like it in the future, obviously I can look back at this video and things like that. So basically, the major thing about that challenge that I didn't do was I didn't do enough training. I really should have. If in future I am gonna, like I said at the end of the video, I might be doing a marathon. I might do an organised marathon sometime in the future. I stand by that, and I think that if I'm going to do that, I certainly need to do more training. So that is one point I definitely wanted to highlight, that in the future, if I was to do this again, I need to do more training. Another point I wanted to highlight was the fact that the listing side of the challenge, actually listing on eBay, seemed to go very, very smoothly. It wasn't as hard as I thought. I thought that it might be a bit harder. I thought that I wouldn't be able to do it as well while I was walking. I mean, I have done listings while I've been walking in the past, but I just didn't know how I would fare doing that many listings and walking at the same time. I will say that about 11, half 11, when I hit that first wall, I couldn't really do any listings for a time. I was like listing, but my eyes weren't, like when I was walking around and typing in, my eyes wouldn't quite like spell things right, or my fingers and my eyes wouldn't, like hand-eye coordination and stuff, it just wouldn't align, and I'd be spelling things wrong and stuff. So I thought what I'll do is I won't do any listing for a bit, and I had a break, and then I did some more listing after lunch. But I did want to highlight the fact that actually, on the overall sense, except for that small time period when I hit that first wall, the listing side of the challenge, actually listing on eBay while I was walking, was actually kind of fairly okay. In terms of the end of the challenge, when I was at about 46,000, my brain actually like flipped on its head, and although I was tired and I didn't really want to do much more, as soon as I knew I was that close to finishing, I thought to myself, no, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I'm not only going to do this, I'm going to try and take it a little bit further. And that was really, really cool to see that mentality going through my brain. I didn't think that would be how I would react at the 50,000. I thought I would just want to sit down, do 50k, scrape through it, and that's it. But actually, I got to know myself a lot more in that moment when I reached the 50k, because actually I thought to myself, no, I'm going to push this further. And that was really quite eye-opening for me as a person, to actually see that at that point I would actually be fine, or be determined to go a little bit further. So I was really, really happy that I did that. But yeah, so they're just a few points I wanted to reflect upon the challenge. I'm not going to bore you with it anymore. I'm not going to milk it anymore, and I'm not one of them people who likes to, you know, say, oh, I did this great challenge, and I'm going to say, you know, to everyone all the time for the next 6 months, I did this great challenge. That's it now. I did the challenge. I'm proud of what I achieved. I did want to, you know, reflect upon it and say to you guys what I've achieved, and I did that in the video, so no more about it now. Very, very happy I achieved it, and that's that. So, and I'm really happy, you know, from all the people supporting me as well. So, yeah, without further ado, we'll get on to the reselling questions now. So, if you have any reselling related questions, please do throw them in the chat. Right then, one second, just going down. Where are we? Smart Reselling's in the chat. Hi, Darren. We've got Phoebe in the chat. Hi, Ads. Belated birthday. Congrats and well done on your amazing achievement. Thank you very much, Phoebe. I really appreciate it. And yeah, well, in terms of my birthday as well, just talk about that a little bit. I got some nice presents. I got money so that then I could buy a new computer if I would like to. But actually, what I've done is I have basically I've got this I think it's Avast antivirus protection. But what I did was I actually got the Avast cleanup, and I've actually gone through my computer and cleaned it all up, and it's actually really fast now. It's doing a lot better. But also, I wanted to say, just before we continue, the stream was saying I was bad. Oh no, I'm good now. It's saying I'm good. We're okay. We're okay. But when I started the stream, YouTube was saying it was going bad or something. So I don't know why it does that, but sometimes it just says that and the stream isn't actually bad. But yeah, so for my birthday I got some money, which, as I say, if I want to get a new computer, I will put that towards that. The only trouble that I've come across with if I get a new computer is, if I get a new computer, and this is the only thing that's holding me back from not getting a new computer, is basically my editing software is a paid editing software. It's only about £30, but it's paid editing software. And if I don't have any way, as far as I know, of transferring my editing software onto the new computer. So I need to find that out before I get a new computer, because I don't want to have to pay. I know it's only an extra 30 quid or something, but I don't want to have to pay an extra 30 quid unnecessarily if I can transfer the editing software to the new computer. And also, the only other headache that I've got is OBS. I've got scenes what on OBS, on the Open Broadcaster software for my YouTube channel. I've got these scenes set up. As you can see, I've got my links down below there, and I've got the chat there, and I've got those all like set up already. And I don't know a way, if obviously I'll have to re-download OBS on my new computer, but then I'm gonna have to set it all up again and set all the the frame rate up again and all the settings and stuff, and that's gonna be that's just gonna be a real annoying thing to do. So they're the two main reasons I'm holding off, because I don't want to do them. I just don't want to. I don't want the headache of that. If I can just get this computer sorted and then I can get it right, really, you know, I can get it, because the only problem with this computer is that it's slow, and doing this Avast thing has managed to clean it up and made it faster. So as long as I can clean it up a bit more, delete some old files, and maybe put a memory stick into the slot there, and copy across all my videos onto the memory stick, and then delete them off the computer, so then I free up some file space and stuff, I think that'll be fine. It'll be cool, and then I won't have to deal with the certain little headaches that I've got with transferring over to a new computer. But then saying that, I'm gonna have to get a new computer at some point anyway, you know, within the next year or two. So I don't know, am I just sort of being a bit of a wimp and I'm just putting it off and maybe I should just do it, but I don't know. Right, we'll go down the chat anyway, so I've not really looked at the chat. 50, oh, one sec. Sorry, I've just, one sec. There we go. 50k steps is 25 miles. That's a lot in the kitchen. Well, I've not worked it out actually. I thought it was about 23 miles, so I've got it's 36.4 kilometers. That's what I did anyway, but I didn't work it out in miles, so I don't know. Peter A, it's more than Gordon Ramsay's mouth does in a kitchen. Oh, that's class. Sounds good. We'll watch it later with a cup of tea. Well, you know, as I say, it's a long video, so if you have to skip any, I will not blame you for that. Ads, lucky you're not doing the moonwalk like Nick, Andrea, Z and Bex. Lots more training needed. I know. I couldn't do it at night. That's the problem. I wouldn't want to like go out there and do it at night. And also, don't we have to wear bras or something? And like, oh, I couldn't do that, because that's like a lot. Well, I mean, I could do it. I shouldn't say I can't do it, but I could do it, but it'd just be too much, really. I just like walking in. As I say, I just like walking around my house. I really enjoy that. But going out at night in the cold with no top on and just them bras on, I think we're doing that, aren't we? We've got these bras on or something. That would be hard. So yeah, all power to them. I hope we do it. And yeah, they are gonna. I've not caught up with any of their training. I don't know if they've still been doing the training or not, but yeah, hopefully they are, because that's what I realised on Tuesday was key. Get that training in, because that's the key thing, really. Listed 50 things in a day. Ads, knew you had it in you. Well, yeah, as I was just saying, I actually felt like I could have done more if I didn't have the burden of the steps. I could have easily done 75. I could have probably, if I was really going for it, I could have done 100 without them steps. and if I had all my photos ready like I did, and they were fairly easy items, I could probably max out at 100. But yeah, I couldn't believe I did 50 listings, to be honest. So I was really happy with that as well. Do you all list every single day? No, I don't list every day. Basically, what was I going to say? Basically, like, I used to list a lot more than I do now. Recently, over the past 2 months, or a month or two, I've really slacked with my listing, and now I have like 2 days off a week. I used to do like 1 day off a week, or I used to sometimes do even every single day, you know, in the week, but not anymore. I'd say I do maybe 1 day break or 2 days break, and most days when I'm listing, I'd say I do about 10 listings, so not a lot. So you know, on Tuesday it was quite cool to do the 50 listings. But no, I think most people in the chat, I don't think they'll do every day, but you can ask them yourselves as well. I know Ryan does the kind of thing where he does a lot of listings over like 2 or 3 days, I think, or a lot of listings 1 day and then has a break and stuff like that, which I actually can appreciate now. I really can. I feel like that is quite a good way of doing it. Like, you know, you just get a load of photos, you maybe get 75 photos, 100 photos, well, 75 items photographed or 100 items photographed, and then over like 2 days you just smash them out, and then you don't list for 3 days or 4 days, something like that. I could really appreciate that now. Obviously it takes a lot of work in a, you know, 1 or 2 day period, but then you don't have to kind of work much for a few days. So I do quite actually like that idea now, that concept of listing, that way of listing. Jason says, bet you slept well Tuesday night. I did not sleep well Tuesday night. I was, my legs were so sore. I walked up the stairs, I got on the bed, and I just could not move. I just could not move. I couldn't even get up. I wanted to have a shower or a bath, but I just could not. I just couldn't do any. I couldn't. So I was just on the bed, and then my legs were aching. I was rubbing them loads. And then I went to sleep, and I woke up an hour after I went to sleep, and then I think I woke up at about 3 or 4 again. I wouldn't say I slept well. The last night, was it Wednesday night, I slept really well. It was lovely last night, but yeah, the night before not very good. But I have to say, I woke up, and although my legs were sore, they weren't too sore, you know, they were okay, that I was able to do my jobs and stuff that I needed to do. But needless to say, on Wednesday I wasn't very productive. I did a few packages that I needed to do because of, obviously, I needed to get them out with my dispatch time and stuff. But yeah, I wasn't very productive yesterday. Right then, or miss a few days. Will it make a difference? It doesn't really make that much. As long as you're listing like 5 out of the 7 days, I'd say 4 or 5 out of the 7 days, I think that's fine. It really depends on what you're listing more than how many you list or how frequently you list. If I mean, let's just give you an example here. So you list something that has a crazy sell-through rate. So by that I mean that it sells a lot, and you list let's say 10 items, and they're all £100, and you're into them for 20 quid or something, and as I say, they've got really great sell-through rate, then really you'll only need to list like one or 2, 3, 4, however many items 1 day, and you've got sales coming in for the next few days, because if you've priced right on that item and it has got a crazy high sell-through rate, then they're gonna sell anyway. So it's not about what you list or how many you list, it's kind of about it is about what you list, and less about how many you list, because it's about listing those things with a higher sell-through rate and pricing them at that golden point in which they're going to sell. Because pricing is a very hard thing to get right, and I still struggle with pricing stuff. But if you get your pricing right, then things can go after a day or two on Buy It Now. And you know, if you've got hot in-demand items, you know, video games, Lego, certain items of clothing and stuff like that, good brands of clothing, loads of different things, you know, vintage toys, you know, vintage hard toys that are maybe more sought after, then if you're putting them on and you're not putting on things that are saturated, like, you know, very low-end board games, or things that, you know, plush toys that might be very saturated, or mugs that might be very saturated, if you're putting them on, you're not likely to sell them as fast. But if you're putting on quality items, then, as I say, it doesn't matter too much how many you put on, but it certainly matters what they are, and the sell-through rate, and how many you're selling over a period of time, like a week, a month, a day, and how many are actually listed. So how much competition is on eBay that you're battling with for the sales. So certainly there are a few different variables you want to look out for. But you don't, by no means, you don't need to list every day. You don't need to list a lot of stuff. You just need to be listing the right stuff and for the right price, and make sure that on the buy, when you buy something, you buy into it for the right amount of money. Because I've learned over the past year, it's taken me about a year and a half, 2 years to actually really, you know what this means and interpret it in the right way. But I understand fully now what the profit on the buy actually means. You know, the profit is made on the buy. I never even understood what that meant, but now I really do understand that, yes, that is completely true. If you buy something at retail price, then you've not made profit on it at that buy, because even if you sell it at retail price, you've not made profit, you see. But if you buy something at £1 and it's worth X amount of pound, even if you don't sell it for a while or whatever, and maybe the price comes down slightly, you're still going to make profit because you got such a low buy-in point. You know, you got such an amazing deal. So the profit is made on the buy, really. So yeah. Where else? Where are we now in the chat? You must have driven your mum mad going round and round the house. Must have covered roughly 20 miles. Yeah, I don't. She wasn't that bothered. She was in the other room a little bit. You could see on the time lapse she came in a little bit, but yeah, she wasn't. She was all right. I said, you should be doing this with me, and she said, there's no way with my knee or something. I can't remember what she said, but she's got a bad knee or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, she said there's no way I'm doing that. But it was funny. I was having a joke with her. Question: why don't you list 50 things every day then, Adam? Knew you had it in you. You know what? That's funny, because that's exactly what I said to my mum. I said to her after I'd done the challenge, I said, I'm really lazy. I mean, I really did think, I really analysed what I was doing. I think I'm really lazy. Like, yeah, okay, I list like maybe 10 things a day, and I'm sorting stuff, and I've got packing to do, and I've got accounting and other things that keep me busy and that are all productive things for the business, and obviously they all take time. But really, I should be working like I should be working much smarter and much faster. Not to the point like where I'm burning myself out completely, but certainly I do think I should be doing a few more listings a day. I think I should prioritise my time, manage my time a little bit better, and do some more listings. But the reason I was able to do 50 listings that day was because I'd done all the prep for it the day before, and I didn't have any packing to do, because I made sure I had set my dispatch time a little bit longer. I made sure there was nothing else to do, like no accounting, no YouTube stuff except the filming on the day. You know, there was nothing else to do with my business. Not one thing, no printing out labels, no admin work, no answering messages, no answering offers, nothing. So I freed my entire day up to do that. So, you know, on other days I've got a lot more to my business. So that, I suppose, is why I don't get as much done. But certainly I do feel like I could do a lot more, you know, well, not a lot more, but quite a few more listings than I currently do, if I squeeze them in and I make sure that I'm working smart and working fast as well. But yeah, that's funny actually you say that, because that's what I was thinking as well after I'd done it. Kirsten's in the chat. Hi there. I'm probably way behind, so I'm sorry. Ad's the only person ever to install antivirus software and end up with a faster PC. Oh my god, I don't know, maybe I am. Where are we now? Let's have a look. How long, Doc, was you watching Stephen Seth last night? Let me see. Sorry, I'm just having a look through the chat. Wow, there's a lot of chat. Nigel, hi there, Nigel. I've not seen you in the chat for a while, actually. Ads, I picked up some PS1, PlayStation 1 games. Nothing amazing, but know you sell them, and wondered if you send them out in padded jiffy bags. Cases seem to easily crack, so not sure. This has always been like that for me, right? And I'll tell you what I do, and some people might be like, oh God, you shouldn't do that. But I touch wood, and I've sent some PS1 games out this week and last week, and I've not had a trouble with this. Now, if I sell a single PS1 game, dependent on value this is, but if it's fairly low value, like maybe 10 quid, maybe 12, 15, then what I will do is I'll put it in a jiffy bag, but hold on a minute, not just that, I will then insert like sort of as thick as I can, like as thick card as I can, into either side of the game, like that. So it's in a jiffy bag, and then it's got card either side, but just thick enough to protect it enough, but also to just about slide through this large letter slot in this guide here. So, you know, it's got to be fairly thin, but not too thin, so then it's, you know, there's no point in having the card in there in the first place. So yeah, that's kind of what I do with the slightly lower value ones. I've not had any trouble yet, and again, I'll touch wood. But with the slight, like I sold a Dino Crisis today actually, which was one of the 50 listings, and I sold that for 25 quid. So it was funny you've asked this, because today when I sold it, I thought, oh, what should I do with that one? I don't want to put it in a jiffy bag. So really, I just try and find a small box or whatever to put it in. You know, just a very, very small little box, and I'll put it in a box. But other than that, you know, it's so I find they're okay in jiffy bags, but you need a bit of extra support in there because, as you say, the cases are quite easily cracked. So I would never just put one in a jiffy bag. Well, I say that, I have done it once. There is 1 or 2 occasions I can remember that I have actually done that and whisked it, but because I'm not gonna lie, you know, but most of the time, pretty much 99% of the time now, I'll shove it in, put these little card inserts with it, and it's fine. But putting it just in a jiffy bag on its own, you're going very, very, very risky there. So yeah. And when you've got jiffy bags, you know, make sure that they are decent ones. I don't know whether I've changed over from the ones I used to buy, but I bought MacLeod ones before, and they're okay. I don't ever really buy the actual, you know, jiffy bag branded ones. They are obviously much better quality, but you know, I've got to, I'm a business, I've got to have some sort of cost ratio, you know, some sort of, I've got to analyse my costs, you know, and I've got to think, well, I can't buy the top brand just, you know, because I'd like to buy the top brand. I need to analyse my costs and think, right, I've got to go for one of the cheaper brands, maybe not the bottom cheapest brand, because that just isn't any good at all, but I do need to go for one of the cheaper brands. So yeah, I never buy the top quality brand, but if you bought the top quality brand, then that'd be really good protection wise. But I'd still, even if I bought them, I would be putting little slots of card in. Right then, where are we? Does frequency not impact sales then? How do you mean? Curly Chloe. I don't know what you mean. Frequency in what? You mean frequency in listing? Do you mean frequency in listing? It can equal sales, yeah. Like, if you're frequently listing, yes, that may equal sales. And there's still a lot of debate about this with a lot of different resellers, because we don't know. We're just going off like the information, the data that we've been given from our own personal selling experience. But eBay hasn't ever come out and said, if you list 10 a day or 20 a day, or, you know, every day, or if you list every day, it will improve your sales. I don't think they've ever said anything like that officially. But what we're determining as all these different resellers with experience is we're trying to think, right, look, this is what we've done in the past, and it has equaled more sales. And a lot of us have been listing more in the past, let's say, and we've been getting more sales, and then let's say we're not listing as much now, and we're not getting as many sales. So then it makes you think, actually, frequency of listing does correlate with sales. But as I mentioned, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to list all the time. Like, if you've got multi-listings, let's say, then really you only need to put on 20, 30, 40, 50 multi-listings with 10, 20, 30, 40 quantity in each listing, and then you can just ride those sales for a month or two, and your sales might not actually slow down very quickly because you're obviously, you've done the multi-listing, so you know your quantity goes down on your listings, but your listings don't actually deplete any because it's just the quantity going down. But there will obviously be a point, even with that scenario, where you will have to start listing again. But yeah, there's so much more to it, really. So much more to eBay. But I'd say a lot is speculation about what we think based on our experience. Right then, where are we? No need, Adam. I had a whole video made just for me. I think there's just a bit of chat going on. Wow, God, there's a lot of chat going on today. Where are we? Ads wears the same coat on each video. I know this is my trademark. Yeah, I want to look back at these videos and think, and then if I'm with someone at the time, like in 30 years time, I can go, that was my trademark. So yeah, that's probably why I wear them secretly in the back of my mind. God, there's so much chat going on. I'm trying to find the questions in all this chat. Sib K, question: who or what influenced you into creating a video about a cabinet? About my antique cabinet? I don't know. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know. I just did it. I don't know, really. I've not, because I was getting the cabinet, I just thought, oh, I'll create a video on it. Like, everything I do in my life, I always like have in the back of my mind, like, oh, would this be good for YouTube, or would my viewers like this? Without actually thinking about it, I kind of use subconsciously when I'm doing a video, except for the 50,000 steps video, because I actually subconsciously avoided doing it in that video. But with most of my videos, I actually start to subconsciously think, especially in the last month or so, the Walt Disney triangle, where he would always look at his content or his you know, movies or whatever as an audience. So as he'd view the movie as if he was the audience, he would view it as a critic, and then he would view it as himself. So I kind of subconsciously do that. I do watch back every video before I make it live, make sure that I'm happy with it and all that sort of stuff. And you know, what I think to myself is, would the majority of my audience, and I always picture people in my mind, you know, while I'm thinking about it, while I'm watching it, would this person like this? Would this person like this? And I almost think individually about the people who comment on my videos and think, would he like this? Would she like that? And I do that in my mind when I'm watching it back. And then I think to myself, right, do I like this? Do I think this is entertaining? Do I think this is personal to me? Do I think it is showcasing my style, my way of presentation, all that sort of stuff? And then I think, what if a critic viewed it? How would they analyze it? What would they see wrong with it? And break it down like that. And then I think to myself, right, do I need to change bits in it or not, or do I make it live? Now, whether I actually change a lot of it really depends on whether I can be bothered putting it back through my editing software and changing it all. Because when I convert a video to the highest resolution on my editing software, it takes like 2 to 3 hours to process it. I don't know whether it's because of my editing software is slow, I don't know what it is, but it takes a long time anyway. So I either say to myself, right, that's okay, I'm happy with that small little thing that's niggling at me, and I'll just publish it. Or I'll say, if it is niggling me quite a lot, I'll say, right, I'll put it back through my editing suite and then change it out. But yeah, I do that, I certainly do that. But with my YouTube content, whatever I'm doing in the future, I'll always be thinking in the back of my mind, would this suit me doing a YouTube video? So I think that is the reason why I did the cabinet video. Right, we'll go down the chat. Your mum seems really supportive. She is very, very supportive. She always has been, really. is, oh sorry, it's gone down again, it's jumped. God, we've got so much chat going on. One sec. I don't know where we are. Is the next part of the stream to do with mirrors? No, it's not to do with mirrors. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd say that. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere. Question from Do It Yourself Lifestyle. Adam, you don't talk much about the year's goals you have. Can we see an Adam shop with 2,000 plus listings and get a better attack on Amazon FBA? What are your goals? Well, funnily enough, I'm not really having the best of time with Amazon FBA at the moment. I'm not sourcing much. I just can't seem to source much at the moment. I don't want to do a load of sniping, like I've said, because I'm paying up for items. It's so much effort to do all that sniping, and you know me, I'll put the effort in if I want to do it, but because I don't really have any, I don't want, thing is, I don't want to pay £15 or £20 sniping something that I can flip into maybe 40, 50, 60 quid or whatever, when I can try and go out there to a charity shop and pay £1, £2, £3, £4 on a DVD and flip it into very similar money or just a little bit less, like, you know, maybe 30 quid. So I'm really having I'm juggling at the moment. I'm thinking I need to get more Amazon FBA stock, but I don't want to go down the route of sniping and pay up for things and stuff like that and build an inventory back up that way. I want to go and get stock that is really, really cheap, but I can flip into good money. And even if I've got a smaller inventory up there, it doesn't matter so much. And that's always been the way I've been trying to go with Amazon FBA, but I'm really struggling, I have to say, at the moment to in charity shops and things like that. And because car boots aren't on, that is a big factor as well. But with charity shops, I'm really struggling to get that stock for Amazon FBA, and my numbers are dwindling. I'm probably below 200 listings on there at the moment on Amazon, on, you know, FBA specifically, maybe just over 200. But yeah, so that's really suffering. I don't want to go down the RA route, particularly at this time of year. I've got plenty of stock for Q4 for Amazon, and I'm going to be building up that throughout the year, and then sending loads up in Q4 and really, you know, make that side of my business fly again that time of year. But at the moment, I would just like to find a few more items for fairly cheap each month to keep me going with Amazon until that Q4 big boom. But yeah, at the moment I am struggling with Amazon FBA, the Amazon FBA side of my business, and I do need to get out there, get to charity shops. Hopefully, you know, car boots will be starting up soon. Get to car boots, find some sealed media, find some sealed board games, things like that at car boots, and get them up there. Because as I say, I need to do that at the moment. So yeah, that is a bit struggling at the moment. But with my eBay, I don't know. I mean, this is another thing. It's like with regards to eBay, I don't know whether I want to grow much further or whether I want to, because I'm now at, I think, at 1,130 odd listings or something, and I don't know whether I actually want to just like continue growth, or whether I want to try and find higher value items and then replace the lower, because that was my original goal. When I got to 1,000 listings, I was going to say to myself, right, I'm starting to replace the lower value items with higher value, and then replace those higher value items with even higher value, and then build it that way. So then I'm not just like having to get more and more space to grow into, and, you know, get, you know, like buy more and more places to store stuff. So that then I'm basically just like expanding my space and the cost involved with running my business. Whereas if I could run my business in a more effective way, space-wise, then I'm going to try that. So I don't think really I'm going to be striving to get to a fixed number of listings this year. I think I'm quite happy sort of floating around where I am. Maybe I'll get up to like 1,300, something like that. But certainly I don't want to grow just for the sake of growth. I want to grow, I mean, I don't mind growing to 2,000 listings if every one of them listings is £20 or whatever or more. But I don't want 2,000 listings with 900 of them being below £5 items or below £10 items. I want to grow in a more, I want to work in a more smart way, and I want to grow in a more smart way as well, that takes into account the effectiveness of the space, the cost of my items, the actual stock cost of my items, the items that I'm buying in terms of how hard they are to package and to store and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot more factors really. My goals are a lot less like sort of item focused or number of listings focused, and a lot more sort of more in-depth focused on the actual items that I've got and the items that I'm sourcing, and less so on the growth of the number of items I've got. So yeah, but I've got so many different goals with different things, and things are going to change. That's the one thing I've learned. Things are going to change. Things are going to move in different directions than I thought, but that's fine, you know, if I just adapt with the situation, and things will change accordingly, and I will follow that change. And that's what being self-employed is about. You've got to have a level of adaptation to your surroundings, to the things you're doing. And I've already accepted that maybe one day in the future I might not be selling on eBay. I might be going to Facebook, or I might be going to here or wherever. So I've already accepted that, and I've made the conscious decision to have my goals outlined, but also be wary that things can change even in the short term, especially this PayPal change with eBay and this Aiden or whatever it's called. That highlights that fact really in the flesh, in an actual physical situation, because it shows that things do change, and things can change very quickly. Now, that situation isn't anything to worry about particularly, but there could come a time, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's a year's time, maybe it's 5 years, whenever, that a situation arises that I need to react to, and I need to react to very quickly. So it's always good to have goals in mind and to be striving for success and different things, but at the same time, just in the back of your mind, just be wary that things could change and you might need to adapt with them. Don't look at the negative. Don't start saying, oh, what if this could happen, or what if that could happen, but just at least have it in your mind that I might need to adapt to a certain change that may come up in the future. But for the moment, just live in the moment and plow on and do what you're doing. That's what I'd say. But yeah, so I've rambled enough on that question, so I'll go down again. We've got so much going on. I'm sorry, I can't even read out everyone's comments, but there's just so many coming through. Original next, I spent $9.50 and got £70 profit after eBay fees on items, £111 pre-fees. That's really cool. Daisy May says, saw some SNES games in my charity shop this week, waiting by the till, just donated. They weren't for sale. They refused to hold them. Manager is a man in his early 40s. Oh, that's weird. So I imagine maybe one of the staff is, or maybe that manager is keeping them for himself or something, paying the charity a little bit of money or something. I don't know. Where are we? I've ballsed up my pricing on my listings. I've lost the plot and believe I've gone too high. Yeah, I've gone too high on items before, and then you just have to kind of come down. Like I don't go through my inventory enough really, but I bet you I've got items on there that have just sat there for ages and ages and ages, and just maybe priced a little bit too high. And this is why I try and look at my inventory as much as I can, even though I don't look at it as much as I should. I do try and look at it every now and then to rectify those decisions, and I can obviously put my prices down or put my prices up or whatever to trigger a sale, And believe me, it might sound crazy to put your prices up in order to trigger a sale, but sometimes, on rare occasions, that actually does work, which is very, very odd, very, very sort of weird, different. Why would that happen, but it does, it really does. So yeah, but it isn't all the time. It's very rare that happens, but it does. Right, oh my god, I must be so far behind. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of passing by a lot of people's chat because how do you do tax? You have to become self-employed. You have to register for self-assessment or something. Terminology may have changed because I'm not registered in a while. I've been registered for years now. But yeah, you have to register with HMRC, and then you do a tax return every year. The deadline has just been in 31st of January is the online deadline. I believe 31st of October is the deadline for if you're submitting a paper tax return. But you just have to register, that you're self-employed and you're a sole trader or whatever you are. If you're a partnership or whatever. And then you need to do the correct course of action. You need to submit a tax return and do all that really. Make sure you've got your accounts solid, make sure you've kept all your receipts, all that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to go into that too much in detail. There's plenty of videos on YouTube speaking about tax. Obviously you can go on the gov.co.uk website or gov.uk website. I don't know which handle it is, but it's one of the two, and they've got all official information on there, all official documentation and everything you need to know with regards to taxation in the UK. So you can go on there. That's probably the better place than just listening to me. But yeah, I'll always give you a little bit of basic information to help you get going with that. Right, 1 second, just messed up that there. Where are we? Wow, right, okay. I can't believe how much chat is going on. This is crazy. John's in the chat. Hi there, John. Where are we? Right, I don't think I can see any more questions. I'll just... Oh, wait, what was that? You should join Nick and Zahir to do the moonwalk ads. Oh, I could do, but I've just done. Oh, I don't know. The thing is though, I've just done this, and it's like it's only in like May, isn't it? That seems like so short, that time scale. Right, where are we? How's the sales on Facebook and Amazon? At Facebook, I don't do Amazon. I mean, I don't do Facebook. I do Amazon, but I don't do Facebook. Is that what you're saying? How's the sales on FB? I imagine that's it. No, I've not done Facebook before, but I was just saying, I might need to transition to that sometime in the future. But Amazon sales, as I say, my inventory is dwindling, and that is being impacted in sales. Last month was okay, it was fine. This month it's certainly starting to dwindle off, so that's why I'm saying, I need to get out there, I need to get some stuff for it, and get sending in a few boxes just to top it up and get it going again. Generally, through most of the course of the year, my Amazon is less than my eBay. Like my eBay will be more than Amazon, and then come Q4, my Amazon can sometimes actually overtake my eBay, and that's the way I kind of like to play it with regards to Amazon and eBay. So my Amazon is much calmer throughout most of the year, like Q1, Q2, Q3, and then my eBay is quite strong, and my what was I going to say? But then my Amazon comes into play. Yeah, that's it. I just had a blank then. I just went blank. But then my Amazon comes into play in Q4. So yeah, that's kind of how it's worked for the last 2 years, and it's probably going to work that this year too, like that. But I do at least need to get Amazon up a little bit, so then I feel like it's going to be at least a half decent amount of money throughout each month of the year. Right then, the thing I hate with people sharing FBA results in particular is they don't tell you how much stock they have up in Amazon land. It makes a huge difference in giving a realistic view. It does, the fees are, the storage fees up there are quite high. With my inventory now, as I say, I'm about 200 items. I've not checked my latest storage fees and stuff, but it's not mega for 200 items. When I had like 700 items up there, the long-term storage fees were going to be quite a lot, a couple of hundred quid, 200 or 300 quid, and obviously my monthly fees or quarterly fees or whatever it is were quite a lot as well. So, but you know, now I'm focusing on having a smaller inventory up there, but still good profit margin items. It's a lot better now, it really is. And with 200 items, it's not too bad. If you're getting up, you know, as I say, if you're getting up over 500 items, you're starting to, you know, accrue some fees there, really, in terms of storage fees. But yeah, so it's not too bad. But I get what you mean. Definitely, you know, people should say how much we've got up there, so then you can kind of get an idea of what sort of storage fees we might be paying as well. So yeah, where are we? Watch Nick's latest video, as he has been sought out of stock for Amazon. Oh, he has been sorting out stock for Amazon like loads, as he didn't have space. I know, it's crazy. He's sending out like loads of shipments all the time. eBay and Amazon ain't easy. It is a lot of work, dude. Keep at it. It is very yeah, doing two platforms is quite hard, because the thing I found is balancing them both, sourcing for both platforms. I mean, the great thing about Amazon, it's very quick to list. So, you know, if I can source the stuff, then, you know, I can list 30, 40, 50 items easily in a morning, you know, quite easily. You know, an hour, 2 hours, easy, done, sorted. And I can do a, you know, I can do a 50 item shipment or whatever within a day, easily, not a problem. So that side of things is very smooth, very good. So it's not too bad. Like, eBay and Amazon are quite complementary in terms of having them both together, because eBay is quite time intensive, Amazon's less so time intensive, especially doing FBA. So yeah, doing them is quite complementary, but that's not to say it isn't hard. And if you can't source for one or the other, and then your inventory is dwindling down or whatever, then you do feel a bit more fear, because you're like, oh, you know, my eBay's going well, but my Amazon's starting to slack a bit. I need to go out and source that stuff. And usually eBay stuff, well, yeah, actually eBay stuff is easier to source for me. For whatever reason, I can't find as much Amazon sealed stock. That's always been the case. Like, from since I started Amazon, I could always find more eBay stock than Amazon stock, because I suppose just sealed stock is harder to find generally in charity shops and car boots. But and that's why kind of I'm struggling now, because I've not been doing sniping, and it was my sniping that was really keeping my Amazon up there. But as I say, I'm paying a lot more if I'm doing the sniping, so it's kind of like it's a balancing act. It's whether I want to pay that more money to build an inventory up there again, and you know, potentially in the future get good rewards out of it. But the thing is, if I'm sniping and I'm spending a lot of money now, I might not get that money back for, you know, a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever, because I'm trying to build an inventory up there again to maybe about 300, 400 items. I wouldn't want to go much above that. But that's my kind of battle at the moment mentally. Do I, in my mind, I'm thinking, do I do that? Do I go down the route of sniping again, spend a bit more money, and build an inventory up there and feel good that I've got the stuff up there and it's profitable stuff, or do I try and just get a little amount of stuff but for very, very cheap, that I can, you know, get for cheap, send up there, massive profits, but as I say, I'm not getting that much of it. So it's so hard at the moment. I'm so conflicted. I don't know what I'm doing with it really. But in terms of eBay, I've got my eBay process like down to a T. You know, I'm going to be buying from auction, I'm going to be buying from car boots. I can get a crap ton of stuff for eBay. It's just the Amazon side, and even for Amazon I can get a lot of stuff for Q4, because when you're buying for Q4 out of season, you know, maybe in February, March, April, you know, and summertime, you can kind of get things for quite cheap. And for a lot of products, you can actually buy them off eBay at eBay prices and make a ridiculous markup, just waiting 6 months for Q4. So yeah, but if I do that, you see, what I'm doing is I'm spending money for Q4, and I'm not spending money for my Amazon business now. So then I won't have anything to send up now where I actually want to send things up now. So it's very, very hard. It's whether I transition into basically remove my professional seller status on Amazon and like just, you know, trundle along on Amazon FBA for most of the year and do very, very measly figures like 500 quid in sales a month or something like that, and then just really powerhouse my eBay most of the year and get that up to a good standard and be amassing stuff for Amazon for Q4, then put my pro seller status back on, you know, pro seller membership or whatever it is back on in like September, whack all my Amazon FBA Q4 stock up there, and then have a major Q4 with Amazon. And obviously because I've been working like a workhorse with Amazon, with eBay, sorry, most of the year, then that'll already be up to standard. But I just don't know, because then if I'm buying stuff for Q4 for Amazon, I'm tying that money up, and really I want to be getting a bit more of cash flow, you know, getting the cash moving, getting cash turning, getting the stuff turning over. So it's very, very hard, and these things are always going through my brain, different things, you know, and that's what it is to be self-employed. You know, you can never, there's always something you're thinking of. So it is hard. I mean, there's been times where I've been thinking, should I just go for one platform? Should I just like, you know, put all my focus on one platform and, you know, just smash it, like just smash it on eBay or smash it on Amazon? But the reason I've not done that is because I'm too in love with Amazon, or I'm too in love with eBay. I can't, you know, I'm in love with both the platforms. I think they both have great attributions to them. I think they have both good points to them, and I think that the bad points each one of them has are actually sort of cancelled out with the good points to the other platform, if you know what I mean. So I really don't feel like I could just sacrifice one and go all in on eBay, or, you know, all in on Amazon. So it's such a hard, you know, this is what it is to be self-employed. It's such a hard battle all the time, thinking about your future, your goals, what you can do to make more money, what you can do to make every second count, what you can do to make every penny count, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, we're coming up on the hour, so I'll probably take one more question if I can see one, and then I will leave it there. Southwest Sellers, where is he? If I'd had 2,000 of the same quality items, he would double his sales a year, running 2,000 compared to 1,000. Same quality, just more quantity as well. Boom, boom. Yeah, well, the reason I wouldn't do well, the reason I feel like that would be hard is two issues. There's going to be the space issue, and I know I could have stuff down at the lockup. And I've been thinking about that, putting listed stuff down at the lockup, but then I'm going to have to travel down. If an item sells from down there and it's just like one item, I've got to travel down there, collect it, bring it back, pack it or whatever, or maybe I pack it down there. But it just seems a bit too much hassle doing that, having it down at the lockup. I'd rather have it all like here. That feels more, it feels more time efficient having it all here. So that's going to be an issue, the space issue. But also what's going to be an issue is finding the quality items. Actually like I can find a lot of quantity from auctions and car boots and everything, and you know, I can find a lot of, let's say, £10 items, or maybe £15 items, or maybe even £20 items, but I can't find a good enough quantity of £25, £30, £50, £100. I can't find a good enough solid quantity of that to build a large inventory of them. So that would be a bit of an issue. So there's two issues there. Now, granted, they could be, you know, could be wiped out, the ways around them and stuff like that. So it certainly is a possibility. However, I've got to think of Amazon. Like, now thinking that way, I'm thinking, right, if I've got 2,000 items on eBay and I'm selling a good quantity and stuff, I'm going to be making a good amount of money on it. I'm going to be making, you know, a good, like, more than I would be making on doing both platforms and stuff, and I may as well just transition to all eBay then. but I don't want to transition to all eBay. But then at the same time, I won't have time to do Amazon because I'll be so preoccupied with eBay, because my messages will increase, my offers will increase, my sales will increase, the customer service, my returns, everything like that. The amount of sourcing I need to do will increase. So all that extra time I've got to put into eBay, there's no way I'd be able to do Amazon, or I would find it very, very, very hard to do Amazon. So I just don't know. I'm just really conflicted at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and put some things in place and think how I'm gonna move forward. But certainly, and I'm always gonna move forward in the right direction anyway after a bit of time and strategically looking at things. But I'm just in one of them times at the moment where I'm a little bit conflicted, I'm a little bit imbalanced maybe, and I just don't know quite where I'm going with things, so I just need to have a bit of a reassess, a relook, a reinterpret of things, and then I'll be on the right track again. Right, I'll just quickly see if there's any more questions down here. There probably is, so I'm very, very sorry if I've missed you. I've missed so much today. Ads, what is your favourite Doctor Who episode? There's two actually. I like Inferno, which was John Pertwee I think it was the final episode of his first season. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not very good with I'm not as good at classic Who as I am with new Who, so I'm not as good. But my favourite ever classic episode of Doctor Who is Inferno, which, as I say, I believe is the last episode of the last serial of John Pertwee's first season as Doctor Who. But my second favourite episode is one that not everyone would have as their second favourite episode, and it is Tom Baker. I think it was 1975. I might be slightly off on that, but I think it was 1975, or it might have been 74. No, I think 75. I think it was season 13, because in season 13 you had the android invasion. You had like the Seeds of Doom. I'm pretty sure that was the last serial in season 13. And season 13 is my favourite. Actually, most people's favourite series of Doctor Who in 1975, I think. But yeah, so Seeds of Doom. If you haven't watched that episode, it's a 6-part episode, 25 minutes apart, something like that. So it's like 2 hours, something like that, 2 hours 15. But it's a great episode. It's got the monster, the things like that. They're not very good. They didn't have the effects they have now. But that is a bloody brilliant serial. So yeah, I really like them too. They're the two. And then from modern Who, new Who, I don't think I could say any other than Heaven Sent and Waters of Mars. They're the two for me. Waters of Mars was, I remember watching that in 2009. It was incredible. I was 13 in 2009 as well. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. Obviously David Tennant was like my Doctor growing up, so yeah, I mean, I loved Waters of Mars. And Heaven Sent the other year from Peter Capaldi, widely regarded as one of the best episodes of New Who, and again I would say the same. I mean, Heaven Sent is amazing. Right then, where are we? If Ads was a proper man, he would say Billy Piper and David Tennant on that beach. No, I liked that. It was the end of Doomsday. I liked that at the time, and when I was younger, I was probably about probably about 10 when I watched that episode, and I loved that, and I thought that was great. However, it kind of romanticised the Doctor, and a lot of people are kind of against the Doctor being a romantic. Me personally, I'm not too much against that. I think, he's a Time Lord, but he has emotion. He's not a Cyberman or anything like that. So why shouldn't he be romantic? Why shouldn't he have an emotional side? But I did feel like, if you look back at all the other companions and all the other different people he travelled with, I did think it was a little bit out of character. Now I've watched the classic Who, I do think that actually that wasn't the Doctor in that moment, really. Because why didn't he you know, love Sarah Jane, or why didn't he love Leela, or whoever else, you know, or Romana? Well, why didn't he love Romana? I mean, she was another Time Lord, but, you know, it's like, so when I'm looking at it now, I kind of think, well, it's a bit out of character, to be honest. So, you know, I enjoyed it at the time, but now I'm a bit more well versed in Doctor Who. I do feel like, yeah, I don't think it is quite in character, but I'm not going to ramble any more about that anyway. So I will leave it there. Add which is better, 13 Reasons Why or Riverdale. I've not even watched any of them. I know that 13 Reasons Why is like a, what is it, like a coming of age, rom-commy, action-y type drama-y thing. I don't know. But yeah, it's meant to be really good. Ant or Deck, I don't know. I quite like Ant actually. I don't know why. Do-it-yourself lifestyle. Have you been on the internet again? What is going on? Always think outside the box and embrace opportunities that appear, wherever they might be. What is that? It sounds like some old man, like some wise old man doing his little sayings or something. John or Edward? I don't even know which is which, to be honest, so I wouldn't even know to answer that. Ads. In a world ruled by beavers, what is the first food source to run out? Oh, I think that was like a little riddle, wasn't it? Is it not cheese? Was it not cheese or something? The answer to that. I swear that was on. I swear that was on. Oh, what's it called? Big Bang Theory. And I swear Sheldon said cheese. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I swear that was off Big Bang Theory, but I don't know. Right, I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I will be back very soon. I'm hopefully going to get a sales update out next. Sales have been pretty slow the last few days. I've had my store on 3 or 4 day dispatch, so I've not been selling as much because I've had a few different things going on this week, actually, not just the challenge, but I've had a few different things, so I've had to put my shop on a longer dispatch. But I am going to share with you a few of the sales I've had over the last few days as well. I think there's been a couple of fairly alright ones, you know, nothing mega high value, but there's been a few fairly nice ones in there, so, and ones that always made me smile anyway. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. And we are done.